And you don't need to get my face, but you need to get my hands. And okay, you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, so today you're going to be making a dragon toothbrush holder, and you're going to get a piece of clay. This is called white longhorn clay. You're going to take it and you're going to make it into a ball. So press it together. Some people take it and kind of roll it on the table like this, and you want to keep pressing and getting any air bubbles out. People also like to, a lot of students will go like this, which helps it to get into a nice circular, like a sphere, and also to help get out any air bubbles. Okay. So once you have a nice, pretty nice round ball, then you're going to make a pinch pot. To make a pinch pot, you press your thumb into the middle of the sphere, press your other thumb in too, and you press, kind of squeeze with your fingers like this as you go around. You can press it on the table like this as well. You want the walls of the pinch pot to be not too thin, but not too thick. So I would say anywhere from like half an inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch. Okay. The main thing you want to make sure is that that down here at the bottom, it's not too thick. It's very easy to make that too thick, so make sure you press your thumb in, and you should be able to have your thumb and finger squeeze it together until it's about, half an inch to 3/4 of an inch. So make sure that bottom is not too thick. Then you're going to take the pinch pot and turn it over. This is not going to be as nice, hopefully, as yours. And you can take a sharp object that you get from this box that says the clay cutter and has a lot of other clay tools. You can also use an old pencil, not your good one. Press it into the top, and holding it vertically, not like this, but holding it vertically, you're going to make an opening in the top. And what's going to happen is this is actually going to be something that can hold, pretending that this is your toothbrush, it'll actually be able to hold your toothbrush and drain out. You want to make it look like a dragon, that's your goal. So this is actually the mouth, and this is the head of the dragon. And you want to make it at least this big, so it's like 1.5 inches diameter, because it's going to shrink 10% when it dries and gets fired. Okay, so here's the overall shape right now. I want to show you, you'll have to probably take a little piece of extra. I should have had you pull this aside. I want to show you how to make the eyes, which can look really good. You can make different eyes, but these look really good. Make a small sphere, then break off, and you're going to do what's called a coil. You just rub it between your hands until it looks like this, and you can put that coil on top. I'm going to roll one for the bottom, and so it's almost like a parentheses, and it holds the eyeball on. Now, clay will never stick unless you make it stick. It doesn't want to stick to itself, so you have to either put some water on and maybe put some little marks to make it hold on really well, called score and slip, or since this clay is soft, you can use your fingers to make sure every part of it you can is smeared into the clay. Otherwise, when it dries, it will just fall off. It's damp now, but it will just fall off. So I'm going around it, I'm pressing down with my finger, trying to make sure this stays on. And yes, you can use a little bit of water anytime you have cracks, but you don't want to use too much water. It'll get too mushy. That's one eye. You can tell this is the mouth. There's really no body. It's as if the body is underneath the table. You can make teeth on it. You can make another eye. A lot of people like to take a paper clip, even a small one that you can find from the tools, because you can make scales. You really want to make a lot of texture. That's the actual grade is on this is texture. You want to show as much texture as possible. So you can make scales that go around. You can make teeth. Some people like to make a tail that starts at one end and winds around. and has some fins or some certain sharp objects on the top of it. So just, you know, it will look a lot like a fish too, but our goal is to, we're calling it a dragon, okay? So again, if you put something like this on, you do have to make sure that you either put a little water underneath it, but that you take it and you really smear as much of it as you can onto the surface. If you decide to make a fin or horns, don't let them stick off like this where they'll break off. Anytime you put something on, like let's say it's a little fin for him, maybe this dragon has a fin, keep it close to the body, not out like this where it'll break off, but close to the body. Okay? When you finish, if you're not finished with it, then you make sure and find some, like a baggie or plastic. Make sure that he goes, your artwork goes in it, and that you get a little bit of as much air out as possible. Seal it up so that you can work on it next time. Otherwise, when clay dries, you can't add any new clay to it. But if you're finished, then you'll turn it over. You'll put your initials with a sharp tool on the bottom, but not on the surface. We don't want to see it. Okay? So you'll put it on the bottom. You'll go to the table on the across from me over here. You'll find your name, and you will put it there to dry. And it will need to dry for a week before we can fire it. Then after that, you'll be glazing it. You'll be putting painting glaze onto it. Okay? And that's the end. Thank you.